The organization of the Gotei 13 has undergone more transformation than any other group within the history of Bleach. From its brutal origins as Yamamoto's band of killers to the refined military organization that we know of during the Soul Society arc, each version of the Gotei 13 has reflected the shifting values of the Soul Society. Now, the version that I want to be talking about in this video comes from the No Breeds from Hell one-shot chapter. This is the latest and some would say greatest version of the Gotei 13. This version was forged after a near extinction level threat when the Quincy had attacked the Soul Society during the 1000-Year Blood War arc. In August of 2021, Kubo dropped 73 pages of a one-shot chapter teasing a new story arc for Bleach. This arc takes place 12 years following the end of the 1000-Year Blood War arc. The Gotei 13 has had more than a decade to rebuild and train new officers and to fill gaps left by the devastating losses following the Quincy invasion. Before we dive into the Hell Arc Gotei 13, we need to understand the massive losses that had created the vacancies which this new generation has filled. The 1000-Year Blood War arc didn't just kill off captains, it eliminated legends whose absences fundamentally altered the character of the organization. Head Captain Yamamoto, founder of the Gotei 13 and its leader for over 1,000 years, was killed by Yhwach during the first Quincy invasion. Then we have Retsu Unohana, captain of the 4th Division and secretly the first Kinpachi, who also was known as Yachuru Unohana. She had given her life to unleash the true power of Kinpachi Zaraki. Following her death, it severed the last direct connection to the original Gotei 13. The organization lost one of its most skilled healers. The 4th Division didn't just lose a captain, but centuries of accumulated medical knowledge and combat experience that couldn't be replaced through training. Then there's Yushiro Ukitake, captain of the 13th Division, who died during the Kamikake ritual when Mimihagi used his body to temporarily stabilize the Soul King. Ukitake's death was particularly tragic because he'd been weakened by illness his entire life, yet still managed to be considered one of the Gotei 13's strongest captains alongside his close friend Shunsui. Then the 4th major loss during the 1000-Year Blood War arc was with Seijin Komamura, but not because he died. After he had used his clan's forbidden humanization technique to defeat Bambietta Bastabine, Komamura transformed into an ordinary wolf, unable to even hold a sword anymore. The 7th Division effectively lost its captain, even though Komamura technically survived the war. These losses forced the Gotei 13 into its most extensive restructuring since the Vizard captains were exiled over a century ago. There were 4 captain positions which needed to be filled, and the candidates available represented a major shift in the composition of the Gotei 13. Let's now go over each of the Hell Arc Gotei 13 divisions and see how they look like going into the new Bleach story arc. Let's begin with the 1st Division, as Shunsui was promoted to Captain Commander during the 1000-Year Blood War arc. Where Old Man Yamamoto valued tradition, strength, and unwavering commitment to duty, Shunsui brings flexibility, pragmatism, and a willingness to break the rules when circumstances demand it. Shunsui decided to appoint himself with 2 vice captains. These are Nanao and Genshiro. This was in direct defiance to the Central 46 and the established tradition of the Gotei 13, but this is exactly the kind of unorthodox thinking that had saved the Soul Society during the Quincy War. Nanao understands how Shunsui thinks, and she is able to translate his inscrutable strategies for the rest of the organization. Then you have Genshiro Okikiba, who knows how the 1st Division actually functions on an administrative level. This dual system creates a command structure that can be both innovative and practical. When up against the forces of Hell in the upcoming Bleach arc, this flexibility is going to prove to be essential, especially if they find themselves battling against the captains who were sent to Hell. The 2nd Division emerged from the 1000-Year Blood War arc essentially intact, which speaks to both Soifon's skill and the division's specialized role. As captain of the Unmeet Skido and head of the 2nd Division, Soifon maintains the Soul Society's intelligence and assassination capabilities. Her appearance has altered as a new captain coat features fasteners near the shoulders designed to split apart when she activates Shunko, preventing her captain's coat from being destroyed. It's a small detail that shows some practical adaptation to her combat style. Omaida has also evolved from comic relief into a genuinely capable vice captain, now supporting a flamboyant popped collar and excessive gold jewelry, and overall it's great to see that the 2nd Division remained stable through the events of the 1000-Year Blood War arc. In comparison to other divisions, divisions that are adjusting to new leadership. The 3rd Division suffered massively during the 1000-Year Blood War arc. Rose was killed by Gremmy after being blasted by Mask the Masculine. Rose was then zombified by Giselle before being resurrected by Mayuri. Kira was shot through the chest, leaving a massive hole, and he was similarly saved by Mayuri's intervention. Also, the division's 3rd, 5th, and 6th seats were killed during the first invasion of the Quincy. Rose now wears a tiny, almost jacket-sized coat similar to Shinji's. Kira has fully embraced his dark aesthetic, wearing a sinister purple hood that gives him the appearance of a grim executioner. His body still bears the gaping chest wound, serving as a permanent reminder of just how close he was to dying. Both Captain and Lieutenant are literally walking resurrections, which creates an interesting parallel to Hell's theme of death and corruption. In terms of the 4th Division, Isane was promoted to fill the void left by Unohana. She's not the warrior her predecessor was, nobody really could be, but she perfectly represents the true purpose of the 4th Division as healers. Kyone transferred from the 13th Division to serve as her sister's vice captain. She was previously the joint 3rd seat alongside Sentaro, and her transfer suggests either personal request or recognition that Isane needed support from someone she trusted. It's nice to see these sisters working together in the Gotei 13. Also, Hanataro received a massive promotion from the 7th seat to 3rd seat, which he shares with Yasuchika. This of course is in recognition to his contributions during the Quincy War. His advancement shows the 4th Division values practical healing skill over combat ability. The 5th Division maintained its leadership throughout the post-Aizen era and into the Hell Arc timeline. Shinji supports an extremely uneven fringe now, but his laid-back command style hasn't changed. Momo has grown considerably from the traumatized lieutenant who couldn't accept Aizen's betrayal to now handling day-to-day division operations more effectively than even Shinji. Again, this is because Shinji remains very casual about his duties. Shinji and Momo's bond was forged in the wake of Aizen's defeat. It represents healing from shared trauma. Both were victims of Aizen's manipulations, but in different ways, and their partnership shows how the Soul Society has moved beyond that dark period in their history. Then we have the 6th Division, which is one of the few squads whose personnel never changed throughout the entire present-day story of Bleach. From the Soul Society arc through to the Hell Arc, not much has changed. Byakuya now wears a blue-coloured captain's coat, matching the division's official colour, and he has returned to wearing the full set of Kenseikan in his hair, which are symbols of his status as the head of the Kuchiki clan. And Renji's once unruly hair has been styled into a firm braid, which reflects his maturity. Both were trained by the Royal Guard, thus making the 6th Division arguably one of the most powerful divisions overall by the time that the Hell Arc comes along. Byakuya's Shikai alone now rivals his pre-Royal Guard training Bankai in terms of power. And when it comes to his Bankai, it demonstrated the capacity to completely obliterate Gerard Valkyrie's frozen body with Ika Senjinka. Then you have Renji, who also got a Bankai upgrade with his true Bankai So'o Zabimaru. Renji is now married to Rukia, who is captain of the 13th Division, thus creating a pretty interesting dynamic between the 6th and 13th Division. Moving on to the 7th Division, Iba's promotion from lieutenant to captain filled the gap left by Komamura's transformation. He's leaned heavily into his masculine persona, now supporting a pompadour, which is typically associated with the Yakuza or gang members. Whether if he is actually qualified for the captain position remains one of the Hell Arc's biggest questions. We haven't seen his Bankai or even learned his Zanpakuto's abilities beyond its basic name. Then there is Atao Rindo, who is one of the Nobodies from Hell one-shot's most fascinating new characters. He is a mute Shinigami who communicates by reading lips and prefers spending time with wildlife rather than people. Despite this antisocial tendency, he's apparently quite popular with women. His Zanpakuto has a unique mechanic. It doesn't have a fixed name. Instead, Atao writes his Zanpakuto's release command on its blade as he then chooses an animal's name. In Shikai, his Zanpakuto manifests as a whip made of talismans that can take the form of the chosen creature. During the new Bleach one-shot, Atao released Hawk's attacks from his Zanpakuto, easily destroying his opponents. This adaptive ability suggests tactical versatility that could prove valuable against the unknown threats of Hell. In terms of the 8th Division, after Shunsui was promoted to the Captain Commander, his former division needed new leadership. Lisa, who served as the 8th Division's lieutenant over 100 years ago before her exile, has now returned to reclaim a leadership position. Her appointment brought another holified Shinigami into the captain ranks. Then there's Yu Yayahara, who represents everything modern about the new generation of the Soul Society. She is obsessed with Gyaru culture from the world of the living, constantly taking selfies and trying to add Ichigo as a friend on social media. Her combat style doesn't rely on traditional Zanpakuto. Instead, by forming a fanged mouth with her fingernails, she conjures the likeness of a massive bear that can bite off chunks of opponents. On Club Outside, Kubo had confirmed that her fingernails are in fact her Zanpakuto. Lisa's fashion choices have influenced the entire division, with both her and Yu wearing miniskirts and modern clothing. The 8th Division has become the most culturally progressive squad, fully embracing influences from the world of the living. When it comes to the 9th Division, despite devastating losses during the Quincy War, Kensei being killed by Grammy after being pummeled by Mask Demasculine, then being zombified before being resurrected, and on the other hand, Hisagi, who was pulverized by Driscoll Bercy, wiped out by Mask, controlled by Pepe, and then sniped by Lil Barrow, both Captain and Lieutenant had somehow survived to maintain their positions within the Gotei 13. The fact that Hisagi endured all of that punishment and he still functions perfectly fine, which is absolutely shocking. When it comes to the 10th Division, this is another branch of the Gotei 13 which remained consistent despite both its Captain and Lieutenant being zombified by Giselle before then being resurrected by Mayuri. Hitsugaya stopped wearing his scarf and returned to a look more similar to his pre-timeskip appearance. His matured Bankai, revealed during the Gerard fight, grants him the ability to instantly freeze anything and negate all supernatural and physical functions, potentially the most broken defensive ability in the current Gotei 13. Then there's Rangiku, who similarly returned to a design that's reminiscent of her pre-timeskip look. Apparently, she's the president of the Shinigami Women's Association during the Hell Arc timeline, with Yoruichi serving as chairwoman, suggesting Yoruichi has become more involved with the Soul Society's affairs during the 12-year gap. The 11th Division saw some power increases following the 1000-year Blood War arc. After Kinpachi learnt the true name of his Zanpakuto Nozarashi and that his vice captain was in fact his Zanpakuto spirit, which had resulted in Yachiru disappearing, Ikaku was then promoted from the 3rd seat to lieutenant, filling this vacancy, while Yumichika moved up to the 3rd seat, finally achieving his beloved number 3. This version of the 11th Division represents Zaraki at his true potential, no longer subconsciously limiting his power, with him having achieved Bankai and he is stated to be the strongest Shinigami alive. This is proven with his performance against Grammy, where the Sternritter had tried to imagine Zaraki's power level, which literally ended up killing the Sternritter because his body couldn't handle that much strength. Then there's the 12th Division. Nemu was killed by Pernida, her body pulled apart by the compulsory. Mayuri rescued her brain and created Nemuri Hachigo, currently a child and presumably an unseated officer. Akon being promoted from a 3rd seat to a lieutenant recognizes his critical contributions during the Quincy War. The 12th Division remains the Gotei 13's most strategically valuable asset. Mayuri's genius created counters for the zombie and the love, and he resurrected multiple captains and lieutenants that Giselle had zombified. Akon has fully embraced the vice captain duties, no longer wearing his research gown outside of the lab and participating in frontline combat with techniques like releasing acid from cylindrical containers. And last but not least, there's the 13th Division. Following the death of Ukitake through the Kamikake ritual, it left the 13th Division without a captain for a considerable period of time. Rukia's promotion from lieutenant to captain filled this void, though she initially appeared flustered during her promotion ceremony. By the time that the No Breathes from Hell one-shot is released, it seems like she has found her footing in the role and supports an entirely new look. Centauro, formerly the joint 3rd seat with Kiyone, was promoted to lieutenant after Kiyone transferred to the 4th Division. Rukia's Bankai, Haka no Togame, can lower her body temperature to absolute 0. This is an instant kill ability, since nothing is able to survive when molecular motion ceases. She has also had 12 years to master her Bankai and overcome its limitations, and her emotional investment in the Hell Arc is going to be intense since Ukitake, who saved her life and gave her purpose, was sent to Hell through the Konsō Reisai ritual. The Nobodies from Hell one-shot chapter's most devastating revelation comes when Shunsui explains the truth about the Konsō Reisai. The assembled captains learned that the purpose of the Konsō Reisai wasn't a ritual to help the dense reishi of deceased captains return to the Soul Society's atmosphere. This is the official explanation taught at the Shinigami Academy, where captains who have a Rei grade of 3 or higher have reishi concentration that is too powerful to naturally dissipate. The Konsō Reisai ritual involves capturing a hollow in the world of the living and purifying it before the captain's grave, supposedly facilitating this process. The truth of the Konsō Reisai is far darker. Shinigami with Rei grade 3 or higher cannot return to the Soul Society's atmosphere because their reishi is too powerful to remain there. The Konsō Reisai doesn't help them reintegrate, it actually sends the deceased captains to Hell. Every captain who has died in battle, every lieutenant who has achieved that level of spiritual pressure, every powerful Shinigami that the Soul Society mourned and honored, they were all condemned to Hell by the very organization that they serve. This means that Yamamoto, Unohana, and all previous captains were sent to Hell. Shunsui says that this appears to be the case after he sees the will-o-wisps, which are spherical manifestations from Hell, appearing in the Soul Society's atmosphere. It seems as though after those captains were sent to Hell, the balance maintaining Hell has been disrupted. Xyle Aparo explains the mechanism to Ichigo during their confrontation. The tremendous Reiatsu of Aizen and Yhwach had been keeping Hell's jaws shut. With Aizen imprisoned in Muken and Yhwach becoming the new Soul King, their Reiatsu disappeared from the balance equation. On top of this, the Soul Society sent multiple powerful souls to Hell in quick succession. These are Yamamoto, Unohana, and lastly Ukitake. This combination allowed Hell's mouth to be forced open from the inside. The current Gotei 13 have to confront this uncomfortable reality that they've been participating in a system that condemns their predecessors and will eventually condemn them to Hell. I have theorized in other videos about the unnamed noble family of the Soul Society. The Soul King was mutilated and was forced to split reality into the Soul Society, Hueco Mundo, and the world of the living. This was orchestrated by the ancestors of the 5 great noble families, which are the Shihoin, Kuchiki, Shiba, Tsuneyashiro, and lastly an unnamed noble family. Each ancestor had different priorities for how to fix reality's stagnation. The Kuchiki clan ancestor wanted order, the Shihoin clan ancestor wanted to supercharge soul circulation, the Shiba clan ancestor sought mercy for hollows, the Tsuneyashiro ancestor feared the Soul King might turn his power against them, and the unnamed noble family ancestor proposed something different entirely. They wanted to create a seal in order to cover the pit of Hell. Hell wasn't created by the Soul King, it actually predates the separation of the 3 realms. Hell existed during the primordial sea as a pit. It was a dangerous realm that posed such a threat that the world of the living was created to serve as a lid for it, sealing Hell away from the other realms. The unnamed noble family ancestor understood this danger and took responsibility for managing it. This connects directly to the Gotei 13 because the Konsō Reisai system, the rules determining who gets sent to Hell, and possibly the Hell butterflies themselves, all track back to this unnamed family ancestor's responsibility. They've been running Hell from the shadows for over 1,000,000 years it seems, determining which souls deserve punishment, managing the balance, and maintaining the seal. The upcoming Hell Arc of Bleach will hopefully reveal the family's identity and their connection to current events in the Bleach story, if Hell's jaws are opening from the inside, if the balance has been disrupted, if deceased captains are being corrupted and enhanced by Hell itself. All of this suggests that the unnamed noble family's ancient system is failing. The Hell Arc forces the new Gotei 13 into a nightmare. They will be up against past enemies that they have defeated and sent to Hell, as well as former captains of the Gotei 13, including captains of the original Gotei 13 era. Imagine Byakuya going up against his grandfather Ginrei Kuchiki, the former 6th Division captain, who presumably was sent to Hell. There's a possibility of Genichimaru returning. How would Rangiku react to this? Or the return of Kaname Tozen, which would deeply impact individuals like Hisagi. With Hell being open from the inside, it also forces you to think about the return of past villains like Ulquiorra, and even Coyote Stark. Whatever happens in the Hell Arc is going to need an innovative command style from Shunsui, and the psychological burden of battling against former comrades. With the current era of the Gotei 13, Kubo has assembled a cast that combines raw power, strategic genius, devastating abilities, and fresh perspectives. The Hell Arc is going to test this new Gotei 13, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Honestly, after surviving Aizen and Yhwach, and after being pushed to near extinction and rebuilding themselves, the Gotei 13 has earned the right to face against impossible odds. They have proven that they can adapt, overcome, and survive. Now let's see if they can do this again during the Hell Arc. We've now reached the point of the video that I want to hand over the discussion to all of you. What do you guys think about the Hell Arc version of the Gotei 13? If there's anything that I've forgotten to mention, then let me know by continuing the discussion in the comments. And lastly, thanks for making it to the end of this one, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video.
A massive thank you goes out to all of my amazing Patreon supporters for helping to make this video possible. If you also want to support the channel and see your name in the end of my videos, then check out my Patreon, which has loads of perks like early video access and so much more. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.